I am Mandy. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Don't mind the dishwasher. This is like the only time I get to film, so I am taking my time. It's been a few days since I got tagged by the lovely Priscilla over on the Evening Raider, and I'm really excited about being tagged for the first time ever, like on YouTube, because I haven't been here that long, but this is fun. Like, and it's just a bunch of random, like 15 questions, and I wrote them down. So I have them on my like little notepad. I wrote them down, so I have them, and I've been like pondering them a little bit. So yeah, I also realized that I use the word like a lot because it's the way that my brain thinks, and rather than using the word I use the word like because I don't know, but I'm gonna try not to, which back in high school, so I was in theater in high school. This was years and years and years ago. But back in theater, we had this amazing director who had a like jar. So it was kind of like a swear jar. So anytime you use the word like, we'd have to put, I think it was 25 cents in the drawer. So at one point in my life, I did have that down, and then I went to college, and I guess the people in college used it. I don't know. South Dakota, we're a weird state. So anyway, that thinking about that and like listening to myself. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. And yeah, it has been, and yeah, sorry, I'm just over here thinking about how my brain works when I'm thinking, and then weird words come out, the filler words. I'm not great at not having filler words yet. I'm hoping that eventually I can think more on my feet and be able to dilute those words from coming out of my mouth. We will see. I've never been a great public speaker. I was always really, really, really terrified of public speaking, but I love talking to people. And so I can sit and chat with a person for hours and back and forth, talk. But if you put me in front of people and say, please, Mandy, speak to this crowd about the things that you know I like, I don't just like, I actually shrivel up and I'm like, okay. So anyway, that's me. It has nothing to do with this. That's just my rambling. And yeah, thanks for putting up with my rambling about my speech. So we'll get into the questions now, since I have them. And the first one is, what is a book you don't want to admit you hate or dislike? Gosh, what is a book? You know, I feel like I'm cheating by saying what Priscilla says, but if I hate a book, I'm going to tell you. I don't feel bad. Like, I do not want, like, there's nothing I don't want to admit. If I don't like a book, I don't like it, and I will tell you. And I might have a spicy opinion. I might be a little bit opinionated. But if you like that book, great. I don't want to ever, you know, the phrase yuck someone's yum. I have some issues with books. I just stopped reading a horror book 50% in because there was an SA, assault on a woman, and I'm just not into it. I'm just not into it, especially when a man writes it. And there's nothing wrong with the book. It's not comfortable for me. I'm trying to think. There's so many books that I don't like. The one that I can really think of is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. Is that how you say his last name? The guy who wrote The Silent Patient. I've never read The Silent Patient because I did not like The Maidens. It was awful. I also really, really hate The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I hate how he portrayed mental illness. I hate how down on medication he was. Just like thought process. As a person with chronic mental illness, your thought processes, yes, while they're important, yes, you can like, but you can't happy your way out of depressed. You can't like think your way out of being depressed. Maybe he can, but not everybody can. And the way that I see his his view, it just makes me angry. And so books, a lot of the times, I think I don't like books that portray chronic mental illness in a way of negativity. Like, there was a thriller where Mary Kubica, I think it was Mary Kubica, who I've enjoyed. She wrote a character, but like, she described the woman as having borderline personality disorder, at one point called her bipolar, and just completely I have borderline personality disorder. I also have bipolar 2 disorder. So I'm kind of familiar with like the traits and things, and she got it completely wrong. If you're going to use, and then that was her big twist about the character. If you are going to use mental illness in your books, do some research, talk to some people. There's other ones too out there that I don't like it, and I am willing to call you out on it. So that's my feeling. I will tell you if I hate a book. I don't feel bad about it. I do feel bad if I make somebody feel bad about them liking a book, if that makes sense, because I want people to like books. I don't care. Like Colleen Hoover, I don't like her books. I've read 3. I don't like her books because they're simple for me, but if it's getting people to read, heck yes. Read all that smut. Read all that Colleen Hoover. If you like it and it's getting you to pick up a book, and then like it's getting you to pick up books by other authors, I don't care. Reading is great. So that's how I feel. Like, if it makes sense. Like, reading is great. I will tell you if I hate a book, but I also like one of my really close friends, she and I will swap books, but sometimes our stars align perfect, and then there are other times where we are completely total opposite, and she'll love books I hate, vice versa. So yeah, that was a really long answer to that, but I feel like it's very nuanced, and if you feel bad about not liking a book, don't, because there are so many books out there. There are so many authors. There's something for everyone. That's the whole point of books, entertainment, and educational things. So yeah. Number 2, are there authors whose work you haven't gotten on with or want to revisit? No? Yes? I don't know. I think one of the things that I'm finding out about myself is I will, to my detriment, I will read an author even after I don't like their books. Grady Hendrix is a great example of it. I read 2 of his books, hated both of them, and they're like the ones that are loved the most by people: Final Girl Support Group and Southern Vampire's Guide to Slaying, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, whatever that name. I hated it. I hated both of them. Absolutely hated both of them. And then loved My Best Friend's Exorcism, and loved How to Sell a Haunted House. And I don't know why I kept reading them, because I hated his first 2 books. And so it's kind of weird, because now I want to go read all of his books, even though I'm kind of not sure. It's the same with Riley Sager. I loved Final Girls. I loved The Last Time I Lied. And then every single book that he's come out with since, I've hated. I've hated them all, and I keep reading. How many books have I read by him? So many, and I keep reading them. I'm like, why do you do this to yourself? So I don't know. Revisiting authors. I think more so genre. I want to, because I did when I was younger, I want to love romance books. I used to read romance, and back in college, it was like one of those things where the teachers side-eyed me a little bit, and I still liked them. And I even wrote a paper in college about the validity of romance novels, and now as an adult, I just don't like them. I don't know why. I don't like them. And I have my own romance. I'm married. Maybe it's because I have my own romance because I'm married. I don't know. But I think I'm going to like them, and then I don't. But I keep picking them up. I'm hoping that there's a romance that I'll like, eventually, every once in a while, but it's romance has to be a subplot of a better plot. I don't know. Like mysteries and thrillers when they have like a little bit of romance, or like fantasy when it has a little bit of romance, but romance cannot be the main plot. Gothic novels I love because they're horror with romance sometimes, like the romance elements. Like The Last Tale of the Flower Bride had a little bit of romance. And and it's weird because I usually like LGBTQ plus romances. I don't know, I'm weird. That's the way I've decided. Is your TBR outlined or pantsed? So funny enough, I'm looking at my May TBR right now, and here, so I come up with these big long lists, and then I'll read one from them and pants the rest. So I don't know. My goal this month, the month of April, was to actually only read books through my TBR, and it put me in such a slump because I don't know how. There are creators out there that can do this, but I don't know how they do it where they can just read what they planned on reading, and I just cannot. I am definitely like, oh, I'm not feeling this, but I'm also a person who has to be in tune with her emotions. I have to be in tune with any little shift in my emotions because it could lead to manic states, depressive states, a lot of times more depressive states because I don't get as manic anymore because of medication. So I think a lot of my moods, like I can't watch Grey's Anatomy anymore because it affects my mood so horribly. And when there's graphic violence on TV, I can't watch. I can read it, but I can't watch it. So it's one of those things that I have to be really in tune with what I'm reading. I just finished earlier this week. I just finished The Yoga Store Murder by Dan Morse, and that knocked me hard. It was a great book, but it knocked me hard. So now I have to feel around. And so I looked at my my TBR for April, and there was nothing on there that felt like it was correct mood wise. So I have to push and shift sometimes, but I do like to have a TBR because there are so many books that I hear about, and I have FOMO hugely, but I'm also finding that the more new releases I'm reading, the less fun I'm having, if that makes sense. I don't know. So I'm still trying to figure myself out. Number 4, what is your favorite BookTube reading event? I have only participated in a few. I loved Summerween. Summerween was fun for me because it was reading horror books with other people, and I just love that. Horror is, at this point in my life, horror is my favorite genre. It was when I was younger too, but I read horror and romance. But I love Gothic. I love, obviously, like you can see, like House of Hunger, Last Tale of the Flower Bride, Night Gardener, Sign Here, The Shards. Like, this is all Gothic or horror. Or, well, this one's fantasy, but like mostly horror. And that's what I like to read. So I'm kind of embracing that because I kind of feel weird about it. But why? It's what I like. And so Summerween fit perfect with that. I am participating right now in Jordaline's readathon. That is SSB, Spooky Smart Bitch. I said it. Ignore me. But that is going on this week. So I'm participating in that and I'm having fun. I already finished a book, The Writing Retreat, which was fantastic. Highly recommend. It's so weird. But yeah, I don't know. I participate in events when I can. I participate in book clubs. I think if like technically an event is the Literally Dead book club. I love the logo, so I'm kind of obsessed with the logo. It's beautiful. I have too many shirts and too many everything. But that's Books and Lala's. That is Books and Lala's book club, and I do participate in that most months. I am still not sure if I'm participating in June because it's Riley Sager, but it probably will. Riley Sager and I, we have a deal. All right, number 5. How many works does it take to decide if you like or dislike an author? case-by-case basis. I mean, Riley Sager, I've literally just talked about this in the last couple. Riley Sager and Grady Hendrix, I read multiple because I thought, oh, everybody likes them. I am gonna have to like them. And I liked Riley Sager before his newer books. I even liked Survive the Night, and a lot of people hated that. But The Last House, or The House Across the Lake, was just not it for me. I think it's because I really don't like how he writes women, and I want him to write from a male perspective because I'm so tired of him writing hysterical women. Every single one of his books, the women are high or drunk or unreliable, but in a way that's completely uncharacteristic for people who are. Like, it's just, I'm sick of that trope. So I'm hoping his new novel isn't like that, but I don't know. Because I read 2 by Kirsten White. I read Hyde and I read Mr. Magic. Mr. Magic is coming out in August, and I hate them both. Why am I reading her still? And then, but there's another book by her as a middle grade that looks really, really good. And I'm like, no, Mandy, don't pick it up because you didn't like 2 of her books already. Please don't pick it up. And I'm still might, because I don't know. So I don't know. One work to like, Grady Hendrix. I loved My Best Friend's Exorcism, and then I went on to read How to Sell a Haunted House, and I loved that one, and now I want to read his entire back catalog. Roshni Chokshi, Last Tale of the Flower Bride. I read this, and now I want to read everything by her. Who else? Bret Easton Ellis. I read American Psycho back in college. Loved it. So now I picked up The Shards because I loved it. Like one book, and I can decide that I like an author. So that's, I don't know, take it with what you will. I'm pretty easy. Number 6. Which of the seven deadly sins do you experience the most? I don't know. 7 deadly sins. There's like sloth. Isn't sloth one of them? I know that there's, okay, so isn't there like one with like food? Gluttony? Is that what it is? Gluttony. Wrath. Is that one? Revenge. So I don't really know what the 7 deadly sins are, but lust is one. I don't really deal with lust much. I'm married and kind of boring. I'm a boring married person. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm kind of boring when it comes to marriage. I think for me, I spend a lot of money. I want all the things, books, everything, you know. So is that gluttony? That's probably what it is. But I also just, I don't know. I have a lot of flaws. I feel like probably at one point, those affected me at all points. Okay, so that, yeah, I don't know. 7 deadly sins, that's a weird one. That's a weird question. Number 7. Which of the Olympian gods is your favorite? If I knew more Olympian gods, I did at one time when I was younger. I did it at one time, but it's not something that I've really paid attention to in the past 20, 25 years. Because when I was young, that was something that I paid attention to. And I don't feel like I should say Hercules. The movie, because it's so, I know it's so inaccurate, but Olympian gods, I love the Hercules movie. So I'm going to go with Hercules movie. I don't know if that's a correct answer, but that's what I'm going with. And specifically Megara. And I do know from the little bit that I've researched, the story of Hercules and Megara is very different from the movie, but I like Meg. So take that with what you will. But this is showing me that I might need to go do some Olympian god research and some research on 7 deadly sins. Oh man, I'm laughing at myself. Number 8, what is your go-to special event? Like, My go-to special event. Would that be in my town? Would that be, that's a weird one. I would say our town, not my town, but the town that I used to live in I lived there for like 9 years. Brookings, they have an arts festival every year, and it's like all handmade and all like artisan. I love that. That would be my go-to event. I'm trying to think of anything else, like the fair. Yeah, I don't, we camp. Like, I'm trying to think if we do any events. Birthdays? Okay, number 9. Do you attend local fairs, festivals, markets, etc.? Well, to kind of piggyback off my last answer, yes. So I ran a handmade doll clothing business for 6 years. And so I attended them, but I also was a person who did the markets for a long time. So I like to support the like local handmade things because I know how much work goes into them. Like, I could not do that forever. It was hard work. I didn't have a life outside of my business. So I know that if these people are doing it, they're working real hard. So yeah, that was what I'd say. So obviously though, yes, I support, and I go to obviously fairs and festivals and things anytime I can. I have toddlers, so it's kind of hard sometimes to get a chance to because they kind of take up my whole life. Number 10, do you prefer cities, suburbs, small towns, country? You know, when I was younger, I wanted to live in the big cities. I wanted to move to, where did I want to move? San Francisco. I wanted to move and live in San Francisco. And then in college, I was considering moving to Seoul to teach overseas. So big cities when I was younger. We live in the biggest city of our state. However, we're not sure we really want to live in the city because country would be nice for our dog to run, us to just kind of get quiet. So I don't know because I've never tried it. So I like 18,000 small town. Maybe. Wherever I'm at. I don't know. I make it work. 11. Are there any BookTube videos you have a hard time making? Yes, vlogs. I am awful at vlogs because sometimes I'll forget to record. I will lose footage. I will not finish the video. Yeah, vlogs, I'm struggling. That's the one thing I want to get better at, but I'm not good at it at all. So, vlogs. 12, are you interested in local history? I was when I was younger, but I don't know. No, not really. I don't know. There's a quote from Buffy that Giles says to Joyce. Giles is if you don't know, he's Buffy's like Slayer guardian. That's the best way I'm gonna say it because he's a watcher. But that's the best way I'm gonna say it if you're not familiar with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But Joyce is Buffy's mom, and he says Buffy's very much so in the now, and history is in the past. And when it comes to local history, that's kind of how I feel. It's in the past, and I don't know. Pre us, taking over the land here, it's very interesting. I'm very interested in indigenous culture because, we kind of came in and we have one of the poorest. We have the poorest reservation in South Dakota, in the country, and it's very sad. And so that kind of history makes I want to know more because I feel like it's my duty to know more, but nah, otherwise no. I don't know. Maybe if it came up, but it's not something I seek out. Like my roundabout answers. All right, number 13. What subjects were your favorite in school? Art and English. Simple one. I didn't do well in any other subject. I did love theater, drama. I feel like that's arts, I was in concert choir. I was in all the chamber choirs. So I sang a lot, so choir, music, but not like band and stuff. So it was just art, English. Yeah, and I mean, I got my degree. I got my bachelor's degree in English, but I started out as animation and art. So yeah. Oh, I also really loved like home ec, like sewing, and because I love sewing, obviously. I made this. My shirt is me made, which, you know, is fitting for this video, but I love it. Okay. 14. If you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be? Nothing. Like, I think at one point in my life, I would have said that I would, but my life now is the life I always wanted, with my husband, a comfortable home, a happy home, and kids who are, and my 2 kids are just amazing. Like, and I think I wouldn't be where I was at if I didn't go through what I did, because I went through there were times where I had a really hard upbringing and really hard times, multiple times, like growing, but it strengthened me to be the person I am today. And honestly, there's nothing like, I mean, I could go back and be like, yeah, I changed this, but maybe it would change the outcome, kind of like butterfly effect. And so I just really don't think I would change one thing. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't, because I've learned I have learned to learn from everything. No, I lie. Oh my goodness. Because I think, like, I want to go back in time, like, years and years and years ago, but I got involved in a cult a couple years ago, just 5 or 6 years ago, and then I stayed for about 4 or 5 years, obviously 4 or 5 years, and that was a little not great. I'd change that. I would. Although, I mean, like, honestly, I'm healed from it and I've overcome it, but for the most part. But like, if I could have those years back, because it really just didn't bring anybody together. It caused a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, and the people in it hurt me. And then I feel like I had nothing from it. So, I mean, I appreciate the things in my life now more because of it, but like, it's one of those things that, yeah, I would get rid of that, because that was, I mean, I almost lost my marriage over it. So yeah, but I also want to advocate to like shut down these things, because they take advantage of people, and they like, so I use it as a way to speak about it, because I was not the like young demographic. I was married in my late 20s, 30s, early 30s, and they took advantage of me. I mean, really bad, because I was in like a super vulnerable state. I had just had a kid. I was going through severe postpartum depression, and they took advantage of it for their own gain. And it really, really bothers me how these people prey on people in vulnerable positions. Like, there's one person that I know that, like, from it is preying on people who have been assaulted as children. Not okay. So yeah, I would change that. That's one thing I would change. So I suppose, okay, well, but anything else? No. Had a lot of struggles in my life. A lot of different things I'm not proud of, and I wouldn't change them, because I'm really strong today because of them. All right, 15, and this is the last one. Are there any childhood entertainments you still engage in? So, yes, everything. I love dolls. I've always loved dolls. I have some really expensive ones now, some resin. I have 2 smart dolls that are, this big, Maybe I'll do a video someday where my dolls are hanging out with me, but they're down in my office right now. I spent 6 years collecting them and building a business out of nothing from them, making clothing. I was very successful in it. And I am of the opinion that just because we grow up doesn't mean we have to let go of the things that we love. And I loved them. I love toys. So a lot of times, if you can see back here, there's some toys because we have a lot of them. I buy toys not just for me. Like, okay, I'm gonna pull this out. This is the Princess Peach Castle. I bought it for my kids and for me. I pick out toys for us, but I play with them. Like, it's a lot of fun to play with your kids, or at least I do. My kids love it. My kids always want to be home because I play with them. But I mean, I've loved Sailor Moon since I was like 5 years old. Was it 5? No, I think it was 10. I think it didn't come out until I was 10. But I've loved Sailor Moon, and I love her even now. I love Pokemon, and I still love Pokemon, and I'm teaching it to my kids. And yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. This Light Bright, this is mine. Yeah, I'm a big kid. I'm a big kid, so I like everything. But really, dolls and art and all the toys. I go through the toy aisle just as much as my kids, and it drives my husband crazy, and I don't care because I think that you never like, I had shirts when I was younger. Life's too short to ever grow old. I had friends out hanging out with, you know, opposite sex and things, doing things as like at like 12 years old. They were out doing the like that kind of stuff. And I only say that kind of stuff because they were doing that kind of stuff, and I'm a 12-year-old playing with Barbie dolls. I'm a 15-year-old playing with Barbie dolls. I'm an 18-year-old playing with Barbie dolls. In college, so my college was 45 minutes from home. We drove down, picked up my Barbies, and went back up, and in our dorm room, we're playing with Barbies. And I think it's great. Normalize it because it was something that we enjoyed. Like, I'm a person who, you know, is working on a children's book. If you close that creativity, how are we, like, as adults, we're writing the children's books. We gotta think like children. Okay, so at least I did. So that, yeah, no, absolutely. Everything. I never grew up. I got older and I matured, but I never grew up. That's not fun. Okay, so now I'm supposed to tag people. And I am gonna tag Little Mermaid Books, and Chris is booking it. I would love to hear you guys do this video because I know you guys are also new to YouTube. And yeah, I really had fun doing this, just chatting and talking about things. You got to know how unknowledgeable I am about stuff. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit like. And if you like me, well, even if you just like my content, go ahead and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, I am still learning. I am still learning quite a bit, but I'm having fun. So I hope you're having fun with me as I'm figuring this out. Have a great day. Bye.